So my name is Zachary Dowdy, and I'm an assistant professor of practice at the School of Communication and Journalism at Stony Brook University. And I'd like to talk today about the partnership between Stony Brook University and its School of Communication and Journalism and the NASA RISE-2 project. And of course, the title is Supporting Science Literacy in the Next Generation of Reporters. So the co-authors of the presentation today are Kayla Barry, who's in the audience there, Kelsey Young, Zach Morris, Patrick Welly, Tim Glotch, who's the principal investigator for RISE-2, Liz Bass, who is was a professor at Stony Brook, and Ryan McGill, who was a graduate student. So I'd like to go through the agenda a little bit first quickly. Our introduction, the goals of the project, the methodology we used, and then also the outcomes. So this picture here is kind of representative of the partnership that we tried to forge, and we think we successfully did do. This is in the foreground are the students in the class that I taught, a science reporting class. And of course, towards the background are a number of the NASA scientists who are with us preparing for a trip to the Potrillo volcanic field in New Mexico. So it's one of the RISE-2 project locations where they gather samples and do experiments and etc. So this is a image that codifies kind of what we were trying to do in creating that kind of a partnership. And that partnership here began in 2015 or so, where a group of students from Stony Brook University accompanied some NASA scientists to Hawaii's Mount Kilauea. There have been 3 other trips, and the most recent one was to April 3rd of this year. And the core of our, I guess the lecture here or the presentation here is that the relationship bridges gaps between scientists and emerging journalists in an organic way through immersion, as both groups work to learn about each other, other practices while they're working at their crafts. And of course, the RISE-2 project is one that is part of the, is furthering information for the Artemis project. Primary goal is to create a course for students interested in science journalism that puts them in contact with researchers while they work. So sort of in a nutshell, that's what we tried to do. And we accomplished it in those 4 trips to these sites. And this is a quotation from Jake Bleacher, who wrote about this program in his blog at NASA's Earth Observatory. Those of you who are not familiar with RISE-2, this is sort of a brief summary of it. It has 4 major components, 4 themes: enabling remote meteorological analysis of airless bodies, development of field methods for human exploration, understanding how planetary surface environments impact human health, advanced synchrotron and TIM analysis of lunar and primitive materials. And see at the bottom there, there's this SBU science journalism class. That's the one that I'm concerned with. And I was a professor for this particular trip. And here's Tim's words. The goal of the RISE team is to help pave the way for humans to return to the moon and explore and get back safely to Earth. So we're glad to be part of that mission. This is a screenshot of our website, the school's website, and an excerpt from the syllabus that I created along with Kayla. So as the course is integrally to NASA's ongoing space exploration initiative, students will interview and profile geologists and planetary scientists. So that's directly from our syllabus. And this is the name of the course, Special Topics in Journalism. It's a 300-level course, so not every student is able to take it. You have to have a certain level of mastery of the skills in order to be in the class. So as I mentioned before, NASA is integrally a part of the planning of the class, and the idea is to connect with NASA personnel from the start and throughout the course. Literally before the course begins, I was in communication with the NASA scientists, the whole RISE team throughout the summer, and then throughout the whole semester. So the course materials are designed through consultation with the NASA scientists. Kayla was my main liaison, and she's at Goddard. Tim Glotch is, of course, at Stony Brook University, and also the School of Communication and Journalism faculty as well. One of the main components was visiting NASA and NASA-affiliated institutions, either in person or virtually. Those included the American Museum of Natural History, that include Argonne National Laboratory, of course, Goddard as well. And in the past, we've also visited Brookhaven National Laboratory. And also, we have to keep in mind that we're dealing with undergraduate students, so we try to set real goals for them. We like to think, of course, we have world-class expertise that come into the class. So we have hosted science journalists, as well as scientists themselves as guest speakers. Marina Corin, she's a writer for The Atlantic. Louise Leaf is another journalist who tries to bridge gaps between journalists and scientists. Erica Peters is a Stony Brook University graduate who now is a writer for NASA's Orion project. Of course, Tim Glotch came into the course. Antonio Lanzarotti is at Argonne, and Patrick Willey is at Goddard, and he was an integral part of this class and in the course. So the students wrote articles about science, and they also interviewed science journalists to learn how to perfect their craft. And the core component of this course is the immersion component. So the students, this class was a group of 15, and it's an improvement on the previous years. Previous years, there were maybe 6 on one year, and I think 8 the previous year. 15 students this time, because the course became popular, were tasked with writing articles and producing videos, pictures, etc., alongside the scientists while they're conducting their work for the Artemis project. And these are our outcomes in a nutshell. Students who completed the course completed it with a profile of a NASA scientist, an article or a video about RISE 2 work, an interview with a science journalist, a news article about a scientific study or a finding, dozens experts as new contacts as they were entering the field for themselves. And they also have a great appreciation for NASA and the world of science, for sure. And the work that they are doing will be published in a website produced by the school, of course, School of Communication and Journalism. It's called the Stony Brook Media Showcase, and that's still a work in progress. We have last year's work and previous year's work on that site. We're going to produce this year's work as well on that site. And this screenshot here at the end, the picture at the end there, is a shot of all of us the last day that the science journalists were there in Petrillo. So in the background is the crater, of course, and it's there with the NASA team as well. So it's a nice fitting image to encapsulate what we were trying to do all along. And that's really it for the presentation. I wanted to thank, of course, my institution, the School of Communication and Journalism, NASA, RISE 2, and of course, Survey as well. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dowdy. So we do have time for some questions. If anyone, well, I guess we don't have a mic here, but I can bring you a microphone if you have a question, or if there's any online. I have a question. This is Molly. Do you know have any of your students gone on to pursue careers in science journalism? You mentioned one alumnus. I don't know if you keep track of that kind of thing.
Actually, since the program is so new, it's difficult to say how many actually have ended up doing. But yes, the school does try to track that. But yes, Erica Peters was a student in the School of Journalism, but she graduated maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I want to say. And she didn't take this actual course, but she did learn, she did she had internships, et cetera, at scientific institutions, and then she wound up working for NASA. So my students, though, and this class here, again, it's relatively new. I do know of a number who will pursue their careers in science journalism, yes, because the idea is to sort of like pique their interest in this area of journalism that is not really emphasized in a lot of journalism. You'll normally get into it after you've been at an institution for a while, and you try to fill a gap where there is some a lack of science reporting. So hopefully that it sort of like allows them to pursue this career.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.